So I've decided to push the campaign by about 7 years. I wasn't really looking and paying attention to what was going on, but there are definitely a few nations that grabbed a lot of territory.
Now, undoubtedly, I'm going to miss some things. I apologize. There will be probably some territory that you will notice that I won't notice. But for the most part, like I said, I progressed the campaign about 7 years or something like that. Just trying to wait for a big war to pop up. There were a few big wars, but I kind of wanted to let them play out a little bit. I wanted to kind of, like I said, push the series a little bit further. I wanted to make some more time go by because I know that the series is starting to wrap up. We have less than 50 years, so things are going to get very, very interesting. So first of all, Australia grabbed their entire continent. So Australia is Australia. Australia is going to win Australia. So no big surprise there. Indonesia seems to be about the same. Now, something to take note of is that the Spanish Pacific has declared an independence war. We'll see if that goes okay for them. But for the most part, nothing else really. I don't believe in the Indonesian, Papua New Guinea territory, Malayan territory, stuff like that. There is another war going on between Russia. I believe we knew that Yarkand was a vassal under Russia. Russia and Yarkand are going after Tibet. Tibet looks pretty large, but I think we saw that because as Qing started to fall, Tibet grabbed more and more territory. Even Punjab and Yarkand all actually were some of the main beneficiaries of the fall of Qing, as well as Shu grabbed a bit of land as well. Korean Peninsula looks about the same. I don't think Japan has tried anything else, but yes, Punjab might have gotten a bit bigger. I think they definitely did, maybe eating up a few of the minor nations, but nothing too big. Gabon looks about the same too. I mean, Gabon is Africa. It's almost identical for the most part. Now, here's when things get interesting, and it's in Europe. So, bam, we have Naples taking over pretty much the entirety of the Italian peninsula. Italy itself has been shoved into kind of the Sardinia Piedmont sort of zone, the Savoy zone. If you're used to the traditional 1444 start in EU4, they moved towards the northwest, taking up a little bit of Swiss provinces. Revolutionary France has never really gotten back any of their territory. Prussia looks a bit stronger, but nothing too big. I mean, we still have the fall of Austria continuing to happen. Greece still remains very, very powerful. And yeah, that's about it in terms of continental Europe. But the big news is this. Bam! Norway has taken over all of Scottish lands, and right now actually Norway has gotten themselves involved in a war with Great Britain. They have Ireland on their side, which is a big reason why Norway was able to make a landing in the British Isles, because again, they've been allied to Ireland for quite a long time now, and Ireland has really helped them out quite a bit, I think. So yeah, I mean, that's something to kind of take note of, and we're going to have to keep an eye on how this goes. Yeah, look, Ireland has a stack of 55,000 men. I don't know where the British are, but again, this has not been a very good campaign for the British whatsoever. For the most part, the New World has stayed the same, except for the USA grabbed a bunch of territory from Canada. As you can see from the striped provinces here, they lost about 13 provinces or something like that. I mean, now the Americans are kind of reaching outside of modern-day American territory, and at least in this alternative timeline, they're starting to reach into Canadian lands. And now, Canada is clearly desperate because they're at war with British Columbia. They broke that alliance that they had for so long. So clearly, the Canadians are feeling a little bit desperate. They decided to, like I said, annul this treaty and declare war on their longtime friend, British Columbia. So they should probably get back some of their land, but we'll see. Mexico is involved in another war against Peru right now, so there's a lot of big wars going on. I guess not as many changes happen. I mean, a few big ones. Obviously, Norway, Naples, and America being like the three big ones. And I'm sure there's like minor stuff that I'm missing, but besides that, it seems to be. I think it's about that. There's nothing much more. Cuba seems to have got themselves involved. Oh, so they are on the side of Mexico. That is right. I can't believe they remained allied to Mexico, even while Haiti is allied to Peru. So there seems to be kind of a Caribbean war going on at the same time. This is mainly Haiti's actually landed. Wow, I'm surprised that Haiti has this many troops. How did Haiti get this many regiments? That's amazing. That's incredible. Well, very good for them. I think there might be a few more wars that I could be missing as well. Let me go ahead and double check on this. We've got Canada versus British Columbia. Oh, this is also a good time to look at the actual war score of everything. We have Peru versus Mexico, 41 war score in their favor. So Peru should get a lot from the Mexicans to the north. So we have Portuguese. What is this? They're just a conquest of Spain. Spain, very interestingly enough, is involved in two former Portuguese colony wars. Portugal not involved. Spain and Portugal are no longer allied. That still remains to be true this far into the campaign. I know that we noticed that they had a royal marriage before. That's why it's showing purple. No longer allied though. And Spain is also dealing with at the same time Spanish revolutionaries, which, you know, is not good. I don't know if Naples is going to be able to keep a hold of this land because I did notice that they're dealing with a lot of separatists, obviously because they took so much away from Italy. I mean, they took obviously way too much. I don't think they're going to be able to keep a hold of this. They might even start to break apart, which would allow Italy to take back some of the Italian peninsulas away from Naples. Take back some of the provinces, I should say, from the Italian peninsula. So we have Egypt in a very interesting war. Let's go ahead and actually double check on how Egypt got involved in this war. Russia technically not winning their war against Tibet at -5 war score. That's surprising. And Norway doing very, very well against Great Britain. That seems like they should... I mean, I don't know how much they're going to take. They could technically take over the British Isles, though. Imagine seeing that powerful of a Norway. I'm actually surprised that Norway hasn't formed Scandinavia. I think they need a few more provinces in Danish territory, and they'd be able to form it. Serbia at war with Turkey. I'm not really sure why. Turkey's landlocked in between Persia and Greece. We've got, who is this? Bali at war with revolutionary France. And then we've been keeping an eye on this. Italy versus the Knights. Oh, I guess the Italians wanted to go after Knightlands, apparently. Knightlands. Russia still to stay remaining at -5. But yeah, no, like I said, Egypt. Oh, there goes Egypt, because their ally of Spain called himself into the war. Obviously, a lot of alliances going on. You know, I've been discussing why I think the campaign has been getting better and better. It's weird because I noticed that same thing happening in the present-day EU4 campaign that we did earlier. The campaign gets more and more exciting as we progress further into time. Right now, I think my explanation for it was that I think that simply because there are less colonies is a good thing. Because when there's all these colonies, you know, the Victoria timeline started off... The Victorian era starts off with just so many colonies, so many European colonies. So for the first few decades, maybe even century, it was just independence after independence. So obviously, you know, none of these powers were going to want to go to war with each other because they were just trying to hold on to their colonies. I like that, and I don't like that. I mean, I think I feel like, you know, all these colonies are almost guaranteed to get their independence. And I guess that's realistic. You know, most of the colonies did get their independence. But it would be nice to see, it's just inevitable for AIs to lose their colonies. So that part kind of sucks. You know what I mean? I know there's a few mods that can adjust that, but yeah, I don't know. I'll look into that. I'll have to look into it. So yeah, Norway's at 28 war score. No peace deals just yet, but obviously Peru's going to grab a whole bunch from Mexico. I believe Portugal should win this war. Spain is second. Oh, we also have Persia taking out Turkey. Oh, that's a very, very smart move by the Persians. Because really at this point, I mean, Persia is down to only a limited amount of nations to declare war on. Turkey is one of them. This smaller... Oh, they're supported. Their independence is supported by both Persia and Turkey, actually. But yeah, I mean, Persia's pretty much surrounded by great powers, you know, Egypt, Punjab, Russia, and Greece. You don't want to mess with any of those, so you might as well grab this land away from Egypt. Luckily, Egypt has been dealing with a lot of affairs in Africa. Have we noticed that? I mean, I'd like to make a statement about that Egypt probably could have been more powerful. It's just very interesting, the fact that, for one, you know, they got involved in the politics of Europe. Europe is very preoccupied with Africa, but at the end of the day, the Europeans never really send over very many regiments to Africa to fight these wars. So because Egypt is allied to the Europeans are declaring war on, you know, the African, you know, whether they're colonies, tribes, or just, you know, independent nations now. Egypt's the one that has to actually fight these wars. You know, this war was declared on by Spain, or actually Spain, it's in the defense of Spain. And Egypt, I mean, Egypt should be doing okay, but, you know, they're kind of not really doing that well. Portuguese East Africa. I mean, there's nothing been sieged out just yet. I mean, this might be one of those cases where Egypt maybe doesn't want to lose manpower. Oh, now they're starting to move into it. And so they might finally... Oh, but there's reinforcements coming. Because I believe all the Portuguese nations are somewhat working together here. Wait a second. Did they lose? They lost a province to Mombasa. So Mombasa's doing okay. I don't know when that was. That might have been a long time ago. But I must have missed over that. That's a small change, but it's still pretty interesting to see these guys start to lose more and more stuff. Can't wait to see what Gabon does. I would like to see Gabon go into war with Egypt, especially with that alliance. Oh my gosh. Persia, Naples, and Greece versus Egypt. Oh, Egypt's really lost a lot of their friends. Mombasa, Spain, and Austria. Is Austria still filled out with friends? Yeah, that's the thing. And once Austria falls, I mean, that's when I really think that, Prussia, I should say, is going to really start to make their move for the rest of the world. I think that Prussia is dangerously close to forming Germany. I don't really think that's going to have much of an impact. It's just going to pretty much obviously change the aesthetic of continental Europe. We do have the complete occupation of Great Britain inside of the British Isles as well as in Northern Ireland. So I'm thinking we're going to see a few peace deals very soon here. What did we see so far? Oh, and Peru is peaced out with Mexico, haven't they? Italy versus the Knights, still no results there. We have a new war that popped up. Shu is involved in a war, and still, Russia is at negative 27 war score. Why are they losing this? Is it because they're not even trying, or, I mean, who else is involved? Tibet is involved in 2 wars. Interesting. So this might really help out Russia. Russia might have really desperately needed this. Supported by Papu. Interesting. Okay, let's go ahead and check what happened in the New World. Oh my goodness. Dang. All right. So, this is interesting, especially if Peru decides to continue to press forward into Mexico, because what happens then when a very angry United States faces a very dominant power from Latin America, Peru? Especially if Peru, because Peru and Canada, oh, they're not allied anymore. Interesting. I wonder why. Well, you know what? The Americans might have forced them to annul that alliance. That is definitely a possibility. Is that what happened? I mean, I don't know. There's no way we can know exactly if that happened. Actually, there might be a way, but I don't know off the top of my head. British Columbia obviously is not winning their war, but it's not too bad. I mean, it's okay. You know, they're not going to be able to fight back the Canadians, but you know, I think that can they take up everything here though? How much would it cost for everything? Oh, no, okay. I mean, I wasn't sure. I know that was a pretty, huge war score, so maybe it was dumb of me to suggest that Canada could maybe take over all of British Columbia here. Well, first of all, AIs don't seem to want to do that. A lot of nations won't do that in EU4. I mean, they'll leave them with like 1 or 2 provinces. We've seen that a lot of times where nations get left with 1 or 2 provinces just because, a nation won't want to completely destroy another country. How's Nepal doing? Oh, Nepal is allied to Punjab. Punjab no longer allied to Russia. They were for a while. Who is Russia? So Russia is sort of running out of alliances, or they're not as strong as they once were. Man, we're going to see some really interesting wars these last like 50 turns. I'm sorry, 50 years, I should say. Just like I said, I mean, everyone is just so big and massive. It's so much fun. It's so cool. I really wish there was a way for us to... How's Tibet doing? Tibet's doing okay. They're holding back everybody, but Russia's starting to really move forward. Not with a lot of regiments, though. They still could definitely bring in a few more. Who's this? Oh, Tibet even got into northern Qing territory to occupy a few provinces. I wish there was a way to make these EU4 AI-only campaigns better in the very beginning. I'm not saying it was bad in the beginning, but I remember it kind of dragging on for a little bit in my mind. I know that commentary-wise, it was tough to keep it going, because there wasn't that much. It was just independence war after independence war. And, when nations were going to war with each other, during the peace deals, they weren't taking it much, which was ridiculous. I'd love to see, Russia lose something here, or maybe just lose their vassal or something. I mean, Russia's so powerful, and they're kind of uncontested if they don't, if really, I mean, who could contest Russia? Who doesn't like Russia? Qing can't stop them. Tibet can't stop them. revolutionary France can't stop them, which I have no idea why. I always stumble over revolutionary France and say revolutionary Russia, by the way. But just wanted to throw that out there. I apologize. So also we have Naples somewhat. I mean, they're under control of the occupations that the rebels are acquiring. However, they can't actually destroy the stacks because they just simply don't have. I mean, it seems like the stacks they might have even more have uprised, possibly. This is where the knights are, right? Yes, but they're doing fine for some reason. I mean, maybe they're blockading Italy. Maybe Italy. Yeah, they are blockading Italy. That's exactly what they're doing. Italy has like no navy, I'm guessing, anymore. They do. They probably had to delete a lot of it because they lost so much their economy by losing all these coastal provinces. You know, they didn't have the money to keep up with the naval force limit that they were at. So I'm guessing that's probably why. Oh, here goes Italy trying to destroy the Knight fleet, but it did not work very well, did it? Not really. Haiti versus the British West Indies. We must have witnessed someone pieced out with somebody else. Oh, you know what? Oh, bam. Oh my goodness, they took everything. Such a weird campaign for the Europeans, specifically the northern Europeans, where Denmark got kicked out of Greenland. We saw Sweden down in Africa. I believe they are gone. Denmark is the final one to remain. Sweden is, I think, completely destroyed from the campaign. The British, I know, still have islands all over the world, so they will remain in power for now, but I don't know. Yeah, because no one's going to really go out and siege some of these islands, so they're going to remain in the campaign. If the Norwegians can hold on to this, though, they will never get back the British Isles. Very interesting, especially, I mean, let's look at who doesn't like Norway. Prussia doesn't like Norway. Who is Norway allied to? They're allied to Austria, as well as Belgium. Two nations that really Prussia does not like. So practically everybody surrounding Prussia is not a very big fan of Prussia. I don't know if it's due to aggressive expansion. Is it due to aggressive expansion? Sabotage reputation. No, I mean, I don't see anything that says aggressive expansion on here. Wants your provinces? I guess not. I mean, well, you know what? I should probably be checking on the coalition map mode. Yeah, no, there's nothing. There's no aggressive expansion. I mean, it's been a while since they took up all that territory, so I guess it makes a lot of sense. So, I don't know why I thought there would be aggressive expansion at this point here, but, you know, whatever. I thought wrong. It's fine. So, yeah, the world is getting really, really interesting. It is 1973. Cannot wait to see what happens. Is Tibet still involved in 2 different wars? Yes, they are. Wow. And then we'll have to also keep in mind if Peru will be able to maintain and hold on to Central America, because they just took up so much. Look how much they took. That's a ridiculous amount. That's crazy. Mexican Baja California. That is, we've seen a lot of very ironic. Is it? It's not irony. It's not. I don't believe it's irony. But yeah. Anyways, yeah, I believe Peru should be able to hold on to this stuff with the massive force that they have, and I have to say probably rest in peace Brazil. I think that the truce has got to be up with them, so they're probably going to get destroyed at some point. I don't care who their alliances are. Oh, they have no alliances, so there you go. Anyways, guys, I'm about to stop right there. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.